Last night at the DNC, Kamala Harris accepted the Democratic Party nomination for president, and she's faced criticism from her own party for the primary-free nomination process after Joe Biden did not seek re-election. So here to discuss with us today is Jesse Kelly, host of the Jesse Kelly Show. And you wrote the book, The Anti-Communist Manifesto. So is this a hallmark of the communist regime coming for America?
Well, yeah, it's how they view everything, Jill. You know about this. You talk about this all the time. They don't view any of the things. They don't value any of the things people watching right now value. They have to pretend, right? They have to pretend to use words like democracy, which we're not a democracy. They have to pretend to care about the people, care about this. But it really just comes down to the fact these people are soulless monsters who only care about themselves. They care about power. And so they would really think nothing of knifing Joe Biden in the ribs and pushing him out the back door and then hand selecting his successors. For these people, they wouldn't consider it. I mean, they wouldn't even consider that abnormal. They wouldn't consider any alternate course. That's how they believe politics are done. This is a naked game of power for these people, and they play it well.
Yeah, let's talk about the sacred democracy. I love what you just said there. Let's talk about Kamala Harris and how many votes she's received nationally, right, from her own party, which I believe is 0. I mean, it is insane to me that no one is talking about this, or not enough people are talking about this. How did she get the nomination? These are the same people who are talking about democracy.
Well, the Democrat is a herd animal. The communist is a herd animal. He always has been. From the Soviet Union to China to here, they are herd animals. And we make this mistake on the right a lot, and that we think everyone shares basic values that we have. But a communist doesn't share any values with you at all. You value freedom, government staying out of your life, things like that. The communist doesn't even relate to that at all. A lot of people don't want to be free. People want to be told where to go, what to do, what to think, what to say, who to vote for. And so for the Democrat, you saw Kamala's polling numbers when Joe Biden was still there. She polled below him, believe it or not, in virtually every single category for the entirety of Joe Biden's presidency. The second they push poor old Papa Joe out the back door and decide she's the nominee, now you have a nomination process at the DNC full of people screaming about how, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I can feel the joy. Why? They're doing what they're told, and that's their happiness. This is something we have a hard time accepting. They don't want to wake up. Yeah, some people will eventually come out of the cult and wake up, but a lot of people are very, very comfortable there. Just tell me who the enemy is. It's, of course, Donald Trump. Tell me who the savior is. One day it may be Joe Biden, the next day it's Dome. But just tell me where to go, what to do, who are the bad guys, who are the good guys. I don't want to think. I want to be told what to think. They're herd animals.
When you look at the policies that Kamala Harris has put out, that's a very thin sheet of paper. And all that she's put out is the economic policies that are completely terrible. So what would a Comrade Kamala administration look like for the American people?
Horrific in every possible way. People aren't paying much attention to what Joe Biden, what his administration, I should say, what they're doing in their final days. They are unloading every single dime of taxpayer money they possibly can and dumping it onto the public in an effort to gain votes, to gain popularity. This comes in the form of student loan stuff, many other things. But what they're setting up is a debt bomb disaster for this country, no matter who takes the reins, whether it's Dome, whether it's Trump. What's coming economically is going to be a disaster. And if you were to take a communist like that, pushing things like price controls, and put her in the middle of a horrible economic situation, honestly, a Great Depression is not outside of the realm of possibility. Empty shelves, starvation, these things sound crazy to Americans. If we hit a debt bomb inflation crisis, like I think we might, and you have a commie like that in charge, all those things are very real and possibly coming. I don't mean to be too dramatic, but it's true.
You mentioned Joe Biden. I think I've heard of him before, but it seems like a long time ago. Hey, one thing I've wanted to ask you for a long time is that, and just get your thoughts on, is this. You've used the word communist consistently, admirably, consistently for a long time to describe the left. You just said, these are the communists. A communist does this. I mean, that is what you've established. It's very strong rhetorically. And in the beginning, I have to say, I was a little bit, is that really the best word to use? It's because, some things you might agree with. Some of these people are borderline retarded, like Kamala. Like, does she even understand what communism is? I'm not sure if she can understand isms, right? But you've used the word consistently. Do you think that you've redefined it? That these people have evolved what that term means? I mean, how do you see? You've done this for a while and it works apparently. Why?
Well, we're all programmable people is the thing. That's why it works. We're all programmable. If you have some liberal in your life, some dirty Democrat who is in your life. Maybe it's a mother or an aunt or a neighbor or a coworker. Well, probably not at the place, but you understand. We all have one of these people in our lives. And these people, why are they voting this November? What are they really excited about? They're excited to vote against Donald Trump. And why? Have you ever asked them why? I love doing this. It's a great experiment. You ask them why, they'll probably bring up January 6th or something. So don't fight them on that. Give it to them. Say, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that was really bad. Well, very scary day. But you liked him on January 5th? You were a big fan before that day? They'll say no. Ask them why. They can't answer because they don't have an answer. Because they have been programmed with Nazi white supremacists. These guys are Nazis. He's Hitler. He's a white supremacist over and over and over and over again. You repeat that long enough, what you're doing is you're creating performance by creating a mindset. Language leads to mindset. Mindset leads to performance. I might get up in the morning and go vote against a Democrat. I don't know. I've got a lot of things on my schedule. You tell me I get to vote against a Nazi? I'll crawl across a mile of broken glass to go vote against them. They are committed. They vote twice as much as we do in primaries because they have their mindset focused that they are in some threat for all of humanity, for democracy itself. We try to be accurate and try to do, well, I'm not really sure. You mentioned, you were thinking about this. I used to think about this too. Well, is that actually the right term? Or maybe they're more just totalitarian. Or are they fascist? I want to make sure I'm being accurate. We sit and quibble about details while they're telling everyone they're fighting against Nazis. So who's going to go vote against the Democrat as hard as you vote against that? You must get it through to people. Labels matter. And the communists have understood that for a very long time. They'll scream in your face that you're a member of the KKK for years, and then we wonder why these people turn out to vote in elections, and we do not. That is why. We try to be accurate about this whole thing. And by the way, it is accurate. Dome is a red diaper baby. Her dad was an open Marxist professor. These people are communists. That's what they are. And so we should call them what they are to create the right mindset and normie norm so we can get off his butt and go vote.
And they are very committed to the cause. And one of the big headlines, though, today is former Democrat RFK Jr. Has dropped out of the presidential race and actually gone back and endorsed Donald Trump. So what is your initial take when you saw that today?
It's a big deal. It feels like everyone knows how sunny I am, but I am getting more and more hopeful that Trump is going to win this thing in November because it feels like the momentum's that way. Democrats weren't really able to create much. You normally get a nice little pop in the polls after a convention. I'm hearing internally that's not the case. When you combine that with the fact the third party guy just dropped out and endorsed Trump, it feels like momentum is gaining at the right time. And that is a big deal. You guys, we're all political nerds here. You, me, everyone watching. We study the polls. They'll always pull this race, or at least they were, with Dome and Trump and then RFK, and then they would pull it without RFK, and Trump's numbers went up every single time. RFK was pulling more votes from Trump than he was from Dome. Him dropping out and being so vocal about his support for Trump. Look, these elections are tight. It might make the difference. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's a big deal. It's a good day.